Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Katarina and I'm the person behind By Katarina Designs, and we have a weekly journal today. So I know that the last couple of weekly journals were about the Hobby No Shades of Grey challenge. In those videos I was showing you what I designed for this challenge. One sweater that was actually created by my daughter, drawn by my daughter, and I tried to recreate that sweater using the hobby yarn. This week I was working on the Mosaic Sweater pattern. I managed to finish and I chose the colors, some neutral colors that I said, okay, maybe I will do it differently because I already tried with pop-up colors, with purple colors, and I wanted something neutral. The thing is that in the middle section of it, I think I had to switch the colors because I don't want to be too contrasting to show this thing, but it's fading. Into the middle is fading the entire mosaic pattern, but I let it like this because I was so far into that section and I said no, I don't want to undo everything and start it all over because it was already my fourth attempt. This was what I was working on this week. In the meantime, I released two patterns, the fusion sweater with the Jenna yarn and this Dare to Be Cozy yarn. And what happened in this period, and with this we're getting into the end of this video, meaning like talking, because I want to show you something today as well. I was participating and I was a speaker at Knitting Your Own Wardrobe Summit. I was invited by Hortense, which is the Knitting with Chopsticks, behind the Knitting with Chopsticks account, and I was showing there how, because I was showing here on YouTube, and not only how I made a sweater for my daughter following the one store-bought sweater that she had, and it was more like an intuitive process and not necessarily doing the math and all the calculations. So for this summit, I took the same concept of using one of your sweater that you already have, and how we are doing the math for the yoke increases. It was the same round yoke raglan, and how we are doing the math. So this is what I want to tell you today and explain it today, and I hope you will find some of the information useful. As a disclosure, this is just my method. It doesn't mean that it cannot be done in a different way, or there are not some better methods out there, but if you're finding logic and easy to use, then I'm happy that I share that. So yeah, I will show you after all the math. I will show you the sweater, how it's looking like. I didn't manage, my daughter managed to wear it like couple of times or maybe 3 times at school, because I was using chunky yarn and it's a bit thick. She's not feeling too comfortable to wear it at school because she's getting warmer, so that's why maybe she didn't wear it that much. And I don't think she likes the color because I used some of the skeins that I had from Durable There by Durable Yarn, and I don't think that the combination is something that she'll love. So let me show you how to do the math, and hopefully this video won't get too long for it. And yeah, I hope you will find it interesting. Okay, so I have here one of my daughter's sweater. You will also need some a pencil, some paper, or of course if you want to use some digital form of adding all these notes like a spreadsheet or something like that, you can do it. You'll need a calculator and a measuring band. Now I do have my gauge swatch, and I made a gauge swatch using chunky yarn and 8mm needles, and I do have 11 stitches and 16 rows. So before starting everything, you will need to make your own gauge swatch. Now the first thing I will measure, it will be the neckline, and we will be working with widths for the first. So I'm trying to make this neckline as straight as possible, stretching it to be as straight as possible, and then I'm writing down the number. So I do have 20 centimeters for the neckline width, and you need to measuring it below the ribbing, okay? So now another thing that we need to measure, it will be the yoke depth. And I'm using my ruler, my swatch ruler, just to make sure that I'm following a straight line at the armpit. And I have 18 centimeters, and I will write it down. Now my next thing that you will need to measure is the sleeve width. And I do have 14 centimeters for that. And then we will measure and of course that we need to write it down. And now I will measure the bust width. And for the bust width, I have about 42 centimeters, and I will write it down. So these are the things that we will need to measure for the yoke. And now we have the neckline width, and I will need to multiply it by 2, so I will have my starting number of stitches. Then the sleeve width, I will have to multiply it by 4 because I have 4 widths, 2 for each sleeve. And I will write down the result. So we have 40 centimeters for the neckline, and then 56 centimeters for the sleeves. And for the bust, we will have 84 centimeters. So this over here, the sleeves and the bust width, will give me the yoke circumference. Okay, so this will give me the yoke circumference. It's the number of centimeters or inches, if you're calculating in inches, that I will need at the end or after finishing my yoke. And I will calculate here how much is 56 plus 84, and I will need my yoke circumference to be 140 centimeters. Now that we have all the measurements, we will need to transform this into stitches and rows according with our gauge. So first thing, it will be the neck, and I will use a simple method. If I have 11 stitches in 10 centimeters, then I will calculate how many stitches I will need in 40, which in this case will be easier. We can simply multiply 11 by 4, and we will have 44 stitches for the neckline, and I'm writing down. And I will proceed the same for the yoke depth to calculate this time how many rows I will need to have. And don't forget that for this you'll need to use from your gauge to use the rows number, so 16. And if I have 16 rows into 10 centimeters, then for 18 centimeters I will need to work for the yoke 29 rows. And now for the yoke circumference, I will calculate how many stitches I will need to cover 140 centimeters, which is 154 stitches. Now we have the starting number of stitches and we have the number of stitches that we need to get to and in how many rows. So if I'm subtracting from the number of stitches of my yoke circumference, the number of stitches for the neck, I will get the number of stitches that I will need to increase. But first, let's see my 44, the number of stitches that I need to start with, is divisible with what numbers? And I have here 2, 4, 11, 22, and 44. And the most used has to be the one in the middle. So this allows me to see with how many stitches I can increase per round. Okay, so I do need to increase in total 110 stitches, and if I'm choosing a bigger number from the divisible numbers with 44, that means that I will have more rows in between the increasing rows, which will allow me to have neater look of the pattern. So now let's calculate. I chose the 22 to increase with 22 stitches per rows, and I need to calculate the number of increased rows. So I'm dividing 110 stitches that I need to add by 22, and this will give me 5, which means that I need to have, in my yoke depth, I need to have 5 increasing rows in which I will have to increase with 22 stitches. Okay, and now if I need to have 5 increased rows, I need to calculate how many rows I will have per pattern, because I do want to divide these rows equally into my yoke depth rows. Otherwise it will look weird. Even if I will get to the same result, I don't know if it will have a nice look. So now I'm calculating rows per increase pattern. So I do have 29 rows to work in total. I'm dividing to 5 by 5, because this is the number of my increasing rows. And let's see the result. It will be equal with 5.8. So I cannot work 5.8 rows, of course. So the idea is to choose either the smaller number or the bigger one. If you're choosing the smaller number and you increase at every 5 rows, then means that in the end you will get a few rows to work without increasing. In our case, if we are working 5 rows per increase pattern, 5 multiplied with 5 will give us 25 rows, and I will get to work 4 more rows without increasing, which, if I'm counting the number of rows from the last increase pattern, then I will have 8 rows in the end. So because I don't want that, I will increase, or I will make the increase pattern of 6 rows, and my last increase pattern will have with 1 row less, because I have 29 rows to work and not 30, which will be the total number of rows if I will do it in equal parts. So my last increase, or my last set of my last pattern of increases, will be 1 increase round and 4 rounds without increasing. And having all of this, now I can start working on the sweater and see how it's working. So I just started. I cast on 44 stitches, and I did a ribbing one by one knitting ribbing. And now I will start my first round of the yoke, and I will do the increases. Because I need to increase with 22 stitches, this means that at every 2 stitches I need to add 1 stitch. I chose to add a stitch in between the 2 stitches, and I will pick up the strand of yarn that is between stitches, but you can do whatever increase that you find more comfortable or you like it, or so on. The idea is that at every 2 stitches you need to add 1. So I knit 1, I increase 1, and I knit 1. But of course you can knit 2, increase 1, knit 2, increase 1. I decided to do it like this because I don't want my row to start or end with an increase, because I find it is difficult to do it so, especially if you're doing a yarn over increase or something like that. So now that I finished the row with increases, I need to work now 5 more rows without increasing, because I said that I chose to work 6 rows per increase pattern. So now let's work the next 5 rows without increasing. Okay, so after finishing the first set of 6 rows or rounds, now I do have to increase again. And we will increase again with 22 stitches, and this time the pattern should be knit 3, increase 1. I chose again to start with knit 2, increase 1, knit 1, but again choose whatever you find it easier. So now we will continue with this pattern to increase at every 3 stitches this time, and then after finishing this increasing round, we will need to work 5 more rounds without increasing, and we will repeat this pattern 6 times because we said that 5 times, because we said that we need 5 increasing. Every time on the increasing round you will need to add 22 stitches, and this will mean that with every increase round the number of stitches between 2 increases will increase with 1. So now I will continue with the next 5 rounds without increasing, so knitting all the stitches, and we will keep repeating our pattern until we will finish the yoke. It's looking weird right now because I'm working with 40 centimeters needles, but I will switch to bigger needles and it will look better. So this is the end of the yoke. Actually I don't think it's the end of, well, yes. So I finish all the yoke. Don't remember that I need to wear 29 stitches, so my last set is of 1 increase round and 4 rounds without increasing. And now I need to calculate the stitches for the splitting, and first I will start with the back and front panel stitches, and I will go to calculate how many stitches I need in 42 centimeters, because this is what I measured at the beginning. So if I have 11 stitches in 10 centimeters, then in 42 I will have 46.2 stitches. And I will do the same with the sleeves. I have 14 centimeters, which will mean 28 per sleeve. So this will give me 30.8 stitches. Now again, we don't have an exact number. So now you're choosing if you are adding one extra stitch to the sleeve or to the body. So I will add it to the body because yeah, I'm doing this. But if you consider that you have enough positive ease on the body, you can add that stitch to the sleeves. So I will work 47 stitches for back and front and 30 stitches for the sleeves. Okay, so now on our splitting round, let's do a quick check first and see if my stitches that we just calculated over here are giving us the number of stitches that we have for the yoke, and it's correct. So now we can go and split this yoke into sleeves and body. So I will start with the back panel stitches. So I will work 47 stitches. And when I finish 47 stitches, I'm not adding any armpit chain. This is to keep it as simple as possible. And because the yoke depth is really deep, and when you have that, you don't necessarily need to add armpit stitches. Only these are required, especially when you are working the yoke depth a bit shorter or exactly to the armpit, because the armpit stitches, besides the stitches around the sleeve and the body, gives you a bit more depth for the yoke as well. So now I'm putting on hold the stitches for the sleeve. I'm using this method using a crochet hook and a piece of yarn. And after finishing 30 stitches like this, I will cut the yarn. And then I will, of course, skip the stitches that I just put on hold, and I will start working on the front panel stitches, and it will be again 47 stitches. After getting and finishing the front panel stitches, we will proceed the same and put on hold the sleeve stitches. I am using the same method with a crochet hook. Cut the yarn, and now we are at the beginning of the row because the stitch marker told us so, and of course that we are there, and we start to work on the body, continuing working from the body. You can switch the first and the last stitch if you want to join this armpit better. But anyways, we will need to stitch the armpit holes because it will create some holes after working the sleeves and the body as well. So now the only thing that we need to do is to continue working on the body for the length that we desire, then continue working the sleeve, pick up those stitches and continue working on the sleeve. I'm pretty happy on how this yoke ended up. I have to be honest that I didn't know that picking the brace between the stitches will give this holes on our increases, but I do like the model, although I didn't intend it to have this pattern on the yoke. And now we will have to continue working for the length, and as we can see, if we are putting it over the sweater that we have, it's kind of pretty matching the size. Well, with the body it's difficult because the cord is smaller, but anyways, I think it's looking pretty good. I hope you found this information useful. I hope you'll try to use them in your next round yoke sweater. You can use, if you don't have, for example, if you're working for someone else and you don't have the sweater, you can use standard measurement for it. It's not the issue. And this is how the final sweater is looking. Yeah, so I do like it, and maybe if I will do it in different colors, or maybe if I will try to use a thinner yarn, then she will wear it more. And yeah, this was for today. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope that I didn't talk too much about it, about everything. I kind of miss this talking, and yeah, I hope that I will get into the rhythm again, and with my crochet vlogs and everything, to be more present here. And also, I'm so sorry if I didn't answer your comments or something, because I was still being active, meaning that I was posting shorts and everything, but somehow I wasn't able to be that present because of and answer comments because of the lack of time. But anyways, if you have any important questions about one of my tutorials, please send me an email at contact@katarina.com, and I will be happy to help you out. On my emails, I'm daily there, and this is checking my emails is my routine with the comments on social media, because there are so many platforms and I cannot spend all the time because I do have family, I do have kids, I do have some other things to do, and because of the time that needs to be spent on the social media accounts, it's crazy, so I don't have it. But if you have an important question about a pattern, a tutorial, or you need my help, I will be happy to do it. But please send me an email, because in this way you'll be more sure that you'll get an answer from my side. So this was for today. Thank you so much. Hopefully see you next week. I don't want to promise anything because I need to make sure that I will get back to the rhythm. But anyways, I do want to be here next week as well. See you soon. Have a great week ahead, and yeah, happy crocheting or knitting. Bye.